All right, welcome into another 5-minute Powers Play. Coach, I was telling you off camera that we're going to bring more people in here with every vote. So we got 1, we got 20, we got 85. We're 1 vote short of getting you into the top 20. I know you don't care about that as much as anybody else, but doggone it, the program's on the rise really fast.
Yeah, it was a good weekend. It was a good weekend, and we're proud of our guys for closing that out on Saturday after not doing that on Friday. It would have been a shame to come back without some success on that trip, and happy for our players that we did.
You know, I got a message and a video from Boris Dorzenko last night, and he said, recognize this goal from Johnny Walker on Saturday night. He had a video of Johnny in his camp doing almost the same maneuver to get free, get the puck, and score the goal. Was there any doubt in your mind that Johnny wasn't going to score that?
It's funny because Johnny and I spoke about Boris that night after the game because he picked up speed coming out of that turn to separate from that D standing still, and he learned all that from going to Boris.
Yeah.
So it's funny that Boris did that because Johnny and I literally talked about the same thing. I mean, he's separated. He was standing still, and through that turn, he separated from that D and created the space to make the play to win us the game. So, that's good for Boris.
Talk a little bit about the road trip. I know you guys had some supporters, some boosters on the road. Really important to be this. I know you're talking about the Sun Devil family and how important they are, but how nice is it to be able to perform like that in front of those people?
I think it's great. You know, some of the most influential and important people to help us build our program were on that trip with us, and a lot of people from out east were on that trip that met us out there. I mean, you could hear, when Johnny scored on the video, how loud it was when he scored. So there were a lot of ASU people there. The Penn State people even said, like, we traveled better than the Big Ten teams do. So it was a good opportunity for our guys to reward all the great people that have shown us so much support and helped us get to where we're at right now.
So do you think the guys are starting to feel any more pressure now with the success you're having, or is it pretty much still the same in the locker room as far as you can tell?
Not even a little bit. No, we're not feeling any pressure. I mean, nobody expected us to be where we're at right now, and we're not focused on what our record is. We're not focused on anything other than Friday night against Michigan State and what's on that clock in the room, and that's the way it's going to be all year, no matter what the record is, no matter what the ranking may be. None of that matters. We're focused on our next opponent.
I also want to touch on your new strength and conditioning coach, and obviously she's done something for you guys in Leanne, and she's been pretty good because you guys haven't gotten any, knock on wood, injuries to this point to speak of, right?
No, Leanne's she's world class in every way, and I think that the biggest thing about her is the guys just love her. They love going and putting in the work for her and with her, and it's a lot easier to get up in the morning when you're going to work out with somebody that you enjoy being around, and she's taken on the role with both feet in and dove right in, and we've embraced her. She's one of us, and we're just thrilled that she's with us.
Let's talk a little bit about the competition that's going on the ice right now. Guys still want to get in that lineup, and I know from your standpoint, you're not going to fix something that's not broke, but what's the competition like to try to get into your lineup these days?
It's hard, and in some ways it's unfair. It is, but it is what it is. A perfect example of it being unfair is Friday we were missing Anthony Croston, which is a huge loss for us.
Right.
He went to a funeral, lost to one of his best friends from high school, so he was in Seattle Friday and then flew out on the red eye to play Saturday. Phil took his spot on Friday, and he had 2 assists.
Yeah.
And then he was right back to the extra forward and got 1 shift on Saturday. And so, it's our success to date is as crazy as it sounds, is largely in part to the guys not getting in, being so supportive and being such good teammates to the guys that have been. It's a tight-knit group, and they understand, and it's a lot easier to manage as a coach when you're having some success, and right now we are.
Defensively, I know one of the guys that continues to stand out for me that's not getting in the lineup is Max Balance, and we talked last week. I see him out there before practice, after practice. I'm sure everybody's in that same mode, but for some reason, Max keeps standing out to me as a guy that just has a desire to get in that lineup.
He does, and and I know every day we send that out, and he's not in it. It's hard for him. He's a competitive kid, and he's a really good hockey player. we've got a mojo back there right now that there's no reason to break up, and it is what it is. But he is a hard worker, and most importantly, he's just an incredible teammate.
Let's wrap things up by talking about this week's opponent. Michigan State's coming in. You probably don't know a whole bunch about them. You haven't played them yet, right?
Yeah, it's one of the few teams we haven't played. They have one of the best lines in the country. I know that, and they're good. They're a really, really good hockey team. You go into Cornell on the road and you sweep those guys, you got something going on. So we're going to have to be at our very best again. It doesn't get any easier. They're 4-2, and again have a big road sweep at Cornell. So the guys are going to have to be dialed in if we're going to have any success.
I'm guessing no lineup changes, at least at this point for you. You're sticking with what you got?
Very likely. I haven't really thought that far ahead, but right now we got a healthy group, which is a credit to Leanne and CJ, our athletic trainer, and so we have a lot of options.
Final question for you, Joey Decord, still Joey Decord, right? I know a lot of people have mentioned to me that maybe he wasn't quite as sharp Friday night. I don't know what your opinion was on that, but he was definitely sharp Saturday night.
I think Joey would be the first to tell you he wasn't bad Friday, but he could have been better. I think if Joey was at the very top of his game, we win that game. And generally when you can give Joey Decord 5 goals, you're going to have a really good chance to win. He texted me that morning, and I don't know if he thought maybe there was a chance I was going to go with Evan, and he said, "I'll get the win. Like, I'll beat these guys tonight," and he did. So he's playing great. It's his net. He knows it. Evan knows it. Evan's going to have his day. We truly believe in him and his future here with our program, and he'll get some time here soon. When the time is right, he'll get it. But the present's really bright with Joey, and the future's really bright with Evan.
Coach, the confidence level is at an all-time high in your locker room. I know that. I can see it around the valley. I can hear the talk and the chatter about it. So good luck this weekend, and let's keep getting home sweeps. How about that?
That's the goal. Thanks.